In 2004, I was involved in helping create the first request for proposal template. One of the consultants that worked with us took that template to his customer, and they got a point of sale RFP on the street in 12 man days. That company figured that they saved over $100,000 on that over starting with a blank sheet of paper. Who am I? I am the Wizard of Pause. What are some of the benefits of starting with a template? Well, first off, you dramatically reduce the time to develop an RFP. On the point of sale one, it was 12 man days. It's an extremely complete list of functions at your fingertips. All you have to do is tailor the RFP to your company's specific needs. After all, it is easier to remove functions from the standard list than it is to create the list itself from scratch. So how do I get an RFP on the street quickly? Well, I start with the business architecture, where I can identify the value streams and capabilities necessary to support my business. From there, I identify standard models that can help me, message models, data models, and the like. Then I take the RFP template and remove from the template the things that don't fit the value streams and the models. And at that point, I can go to market. So we talk about templates. What is in this inventory of templates? Well, first there's a master agreement, which talks about all of the processes one needs to do to make the RFP work. But in addition, we've got a whole set of point of sale RFP templates, starting with the POS software. We talked about that. Customer, e-commerce, security, payment, loss prevention. Let's look at some of the architectural ones. What is the DOM one? How about a cloud computing? How about one just on architecture in general? Or voice over IP? How about workforce management? Of course, we have one on workforce management itself and one on HR. Business intelligence. Business intelligence is becoming very important these days. There's a business intelligence RFP. In order to support that, you need something for the master data management world, making sure you have a common set of data. Video analytics, how do you support that? And store performance management, how is your GMROI doing? Merchandising, price lifecycle optimization, making sure you've got the price right at the right point in time. Product content management, making sure you've got the right image available at the right place at the right time. And miscellaneous ones. I want to buy a new warehouse management model. I want to deal with some of the financials. And one that's deal with devices, a signature capture and debit card RFP template. When we talk about the RFP template, well, what are the components of the template? Of course, the master agreement, because that's kind of the general thing for all templates. Architectural drawings, we'll show you samples of some of these here in a minute. Detailed functional requirements, and how do you want the vendor to respond? So what is in the master agreement? Well, there's an introduction which provides an overall information about this specific RFP, an executive summary to describe the company presenting the RFP, the high-level objectives for this purchase, and a schedule. The current environment, this describes what the retailer's current environment looks like. The technical guidelines and key selection criteria, you got to figure out how you're going to evaluate these various ones. The vendor support, what kind of customer service are they going to provide, for example. Proposal instructions, telling them how to propose their RFP. Maintenance and support, what are they going to do to support their product? And the evaluation criteria itself, followed by terms and conditions. So let's look at the detailed functional requirements area. It starts with an introduction, just kind of to explain what they're trying to do, some guidance to the vendor on how to respond to the thing. It has the retailer's current state defined in there so that the vendor can understand how their application will fit or replace what's already there. The vendor then fills in an executive summary to describe who they are, how big they are, how much money they make, things like that. There's a high-level technical overview of the system. that they're trying to fit this into, a system configuration, and finally you get into an extensive list of features and functions, and we'll show you more about that in a second. And finally, and most importantly, the glossary. One of the problems on the retailer side is being able to evaluate one RFP response against another one because they use different terms for the same thing. And the glossary helps them sort that out. So let's look at the features and function components of the RFP. This again is the most extensive part of the template. Each feature and function is described individually with its individual responses. For example, is it a base functionality of your system to be able to support that capability? Is it something you're going to put in a future version? If so, what's the version number and do you have a date of release for that? Is it something that you have to customize your system for in order to meet the needs of the retailer? Do you need some third-party tool or package to implement that functionality? And finally, just some general comments that the vendor wants to make to the retailer. We talked about the architectural drawing component of the RFP. And so the vendor has the opportunity to supply architectural drawings of their application and showing all of the components and how they interoperate with other components of the retailer system. Then the vendor fills out a response document. In it, they have an executive summary to talk about who they are and overall their response to the RFP. What's their vendor information? This is kind of similar to what's in the RFP template itself. Client references, being able to have customers that we can go talk to. How do you manage this project? And what is your implementation methodology? How do you roll this thing out, basically? Once you get it out there, what's your customer support look like? And finally, you can do a technical overview again for just the response.
The Wizard of Pause. My name is Richard Halter. Please reach out to me at richard.halter@cox.net. Thank you.